So, time to talk about Jacques de Molay's buff. This is one of my favorite characters for gameplay, and basically my first 120. Uh, Getting MP5 was over the course of multiple years. To not happen all at once, so I have used this character at like pretty much every Eidolon level except Eidolon MP level, except I think three, because I got 3 and 4 like pretty much back to back. But yeah, I really, really like this character. I'm so happy with the buff, and it is pretty much what she needed. Not as much as some people might think, though, because she doesn't have super effective honor MP like, say, Bavan she does with Curse. Jacques de Molay she kind of just goes. Like, once you get the engine moving, uh, she just keeps doing more damage. Whether that's from like DOT application and just ramping up how many curses are on the enemy, or it's just raw damage. This character, to me, just does a lot of things. Not more of a jack of all trades. You can use her pretty much anywhere in the game, and her numbers are good. Her attack is her weakest. Upstairs, her attack is honestly the weakest part of her. But yeah, let's get started. Base attack, 10.8k. This is definitely low for a 5 star. Not insanely low. Like, it's not like this is in like the 9k range. Like, she's not 4 star attack level, but it's noticeably different when you have like Ibuki having close to 13k, and yeah, like that's her around 120. Um, but attack isn't everything. And Jacques actually ramps up. Ibuki does not. Ibuki has 0 ramp up. She has super effective, and that's it. Jacques, her damage actually does go up, and her face guards are super reliable. She is honestly one of the reasons I like Quick as much as I do. Truly, like I don't think I would have gotten the Quick hoodie that I have, even though I'm probably getting a new one soon. If it wasn't for this character, I just like I always like how her deck felt, always like how her gameplay felt. In addition to attack, her HP is super tanky. Like, Jinako has the highest HP in the game, and that's like closer to like 24k, I think, at 120, or it's like 22. Can't remember off the top of my head. But what I do remember is Jacques de Molay was not that far off Jinako's HP. Definitely behind, but not that far behind. Like, you have Berserkers with or Avengers with less HP than they have attack. Um, yeah, so like I said, when I started playing JP, this is the character that literally carried me all the way till I think Camelot had to stop because like pure prisms weren't out at the time, so she was stuck at level 70 until I could actually clear Solomon. That was a pain, not being able to use my favorite character on JP, and I think a couple months later, I think two, that's when pure prisms came out on JP. So yeah, I still have the memories. 0.78% charge. It makes this art card feel really good, and her 2 quick cards. Refund usually isn't an issue with me, but that was definitely more base card refund, not MP refund. But we're kind of at the point in FGO where like you shouldn't be that concerned about refund, especially because we have triple Scotty, we have double Scotty Oberon, we have just a bunch of ways you can farm. Just MP charge, not the biggest concern for most people these days when it comes to farming. Okay, traits. Biggest one here, exists outside the domain. Her main buffer is Van Gogh, which is why I was willing to risk a pity on my main account. Because why am I using Jacques de Molay at MP5 120 without a Van Gogh? Like, shooting myself in the foot on that. So yeah, this trait is amazing. Summer Tiamat comes damn close, and she can do it for everyone. But existence outside the domain, Tiamat wants to like really pop off very quickly. Um, you don't need to with Van Gogh. You really don't. Um, but if Van Gogh is not the one doing face cards, you probably wouldn't want two Van Goghs. It really just depends on if you're trying to solely use Jacques de Molay's cards or you're trying to mix in Van Gogh. Because Van Gogh is getting like all the same type of buffs that Jacques gets, is not that much of a difference. Like nothing Van Gogh does is single target. It's all AOE. Um, besides the skill 3, but that's a little different. Um, so yeah, like in teams where more than one character is doing damage, or is that yeah no in teams where like one more than one character is gonna do damage, it's usually Van Gogh teams. Just because like everyone's having like like a stupid amount of crit damage buff. All right, 5 hits on quick, 3 hits on arts, 4 hit on buster, 5 hit extra attack. Again, this is what kept me in FGO because like I saw this and like, yo, they're starting to make characters good. Hold up, let me stay with this game. All right, moving on. So first skill, 20% attack, 30% crit damage, 20 battery, and grants everyone on the team the evil alignment. This for me is like kind of just a gimmick. My real value for this is turning chaotic servants evil, and then they could use Doman to the best of their ability, get the full buffs. So someone like Gilgamesh, even though his team is mostly buster farming, if you wanted to use him as a crit servant, you would the best way would be to just bring a Jacques like or esport Jacques, turn him evil, let her die with the taunt CE, and then you bring in whoever you need to buff. But double Doman would be working in that. You do need this for skill 2, so just be careful about popping skill order. Otherwise, some characters are not going to get the invul you get from this skill. So before and for the buff, they didn't change anything about this, so that's why I'm kind of breaking it down like this. So invul for Jacques for 1 turn, 30% battery, and any allies that has the evil alignment, 1 invul, 1 attack, 1 turn. So literally, so ideally, you would be popping this before an MP. If you didn't have like solemn defense, takes a hit, and then you move on. But again, this is 1 attack, 1 turn. Very similar to Bavanchi, how she gives that little dodge. Very similar, except hers lasts longer, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, hers lasts longer because Bob's invul shields the dodge. So, with the buff, they gave the Kazuradrop treatment, where a buff is placed on Jacques de Molay that keeps applying curses at the start of every turn. This enables the power mod on skill 3, so now her MP is always getting power mod. Again, it's not super effective, and in the formula, it's basically MP damage, and she kind of already ramps up MP damage. So this is why, like, with the buff numbers, it's an increase, but it's if you were to do a 3-turn setup, you would see that her damage wasn't going up like such a high degree. Because again, she doesn't have super effective. It's not like this curse was gonna enable her super effective damage and she's gonna explode like Bavanchi did. That's not what this buff was about. It was about making Jacques just consistently good. Like I said, like in a lot of her teams, she's not the only one doing damage. Van Gogh, with their crits, is gonna hurt a lot for the other team, or sorry, not other team. For the enemies, you might be able to just crit down waves. With this team, would not surprise me at all. In fact, I'm pretty sure I used to do that when I started playing with. I think the team was Van Gogh. Not Van Gogh, Jacques, Doman, and like Babanchi, and just like it just worked. But yeah, just like Kazuradrop, how she puts the quick res down and card damage, card buff when critting every turn. Jacques just does Jacques does the same with Curse. Before, and again, we're gonna do the same thing, because they didn't with Jacques buffs. They don't change her original kit. 10 stars per turn, 20% quick buff, and a 50% power mod when enemy is cursed. So yep, automatically activated as long as you actually land your debuffs, because that is actually going to be a thing where the enemy resists your curse and then you get jack shit. So just be aware of that. If the enemy does resist your curse before you MP, you might need to use a face card because of this part of the buff. Whenever you attack, you put a curse on the enemy. And it activates first. But notice how it says normal attacking. Part of the issue with this buff was she kind of didn't need it if they just got rid of this part when attacking. If they got rid of the normal part, like, then she kind of wouldn't have needed this buff in the first place. That's kind of all I'm saying about that. That it was a wording choice that made her need 2 buffs when this could have been an MP buff. But at the same time, like, I'm not going to complain. The fact that they're doing this means they're willing to do it for other characters. For all you Arjuna Alter fans, watch out. They might buff his 3rd skill to do something similar, and they might give him defense down on his when he pops guts and be able to reproc that. I think that would explode his damage, and he won't need an MP buff after that. Because Buster does not deal with it doesn't deal with attack or defense down very well. Like, your 2 supports are not doing that. So for Juna to have a debuff, like, and again, I'm hoping it's not just Buster Res down, because his damage won't go up by that much. It will go up a lot if it's defense. But yeah, is buff that is just gonna enable damage, and yeah, like, again, if you want to be doing like actual DOT things, like how it works in like Honkai or other games, you can do that with Jacques. Yuck. There are a bunch. There are, I want to say a bunch, but not really. There are fights where DOT actually is pretty viable. And with this buff, like, her ramp up is a lot quicker. Because this is 3 dots that. Okay, so unlike the Kazuradrop, these are not 1 turn. These are, you're putting 3 curses down, and they all last 3 turns. And as you MP, she ramps up how much the dots are ticking for. And her evil curse lasts 5 turns, which we'll see in a second. I am now doing monthly $5 giveaways as a way to give back to my channel. I recently hit 500 subs, and I want to keep giving back to the people that support me. All you have to do is comment on one of my videos during the month. Doesn't even have to be a video I make that month, and you are entered to win. 5 people can win every month, with 1 win per person per month. Only 1 comment is counted as an entry every month. I will send you the prize in a way that works for both of us. Thank you for watching. Now let's get back to the video. Okay, existence outside the domain, 2 crit stars, debuff res. At this point, I kind of really do want her to get some kind of res down, but I think that would come more from supports than anything at this point. Territory creation A. This is part of the reason why her arts card slaps so good, because it's already buffed up with good gain. Yeah, like, truly, like, this is like one. If she had a 4-hit arts card, she would actually have the best arts card in the game. Because Koi and Sky's arts card is better, but it's only by a hit. Like, her and Vitch's gain is like 0.76. So yeah, like an extra hit here. All right, moving on though. Divinity for Tickle, and we're moving on. So my experience, you're gonna want mana loading, especially if you want to try doing black red looping. Um, is it gonna matter in the long haul though? Because you still have to use a 50 battery. That's kind of why I'm at this point. I'm like, do you need it? And it kind of depends on your setup. It doesn't work if you're using Oberon unless it's like grand. Again, like so, it works if you're doing grand raids, but you can't use Ruler Scotty in a grand raid with Jacques. So it's yeah, it really is you're picking and choosing which ones you want. As a crit servant, because I really do see her as a crit servant, this is going to be a big one, especially because power mods actually do affect your extra attack. It's one of the few things that actually does like boost up your damage. So I'm a big proponent for this one on her specifically. You don't do much cooldown reduction with quick. This would just be for better uptime than trying to double stack it like you do Buster. Yeah, and then extra crit damage is extra crit damage. Depending on your team comp, you might not need it. Especially if you're using Van Gogh. I would not pick this one just because you're gonna have so much crit damage. 30 is gonna be nothing compared to what Van Gogh can actually give you. So yeah, it is these three. And I'm speaking as someone that has a 120. It's these three that actually matter. The other two, all right. MP, Vanzer the Tres, 5-hit AOE quick, damage to all enemies, inflicts curse 5 turns, evil curse 5 turns, and this ups it by 100%. Now, are there better amps for DOT? Yes, but you have to also look at the cooldowns. Basically, she like the way she works is she's supposed to like you have 100, not 100% uptime, but when these start falling off, that's when these are supposed to come back off cooldown. So if it's a sustained fight and Jox is just like staying alive, uh, when these come off cooldown, you should be fully ramped up and ready to go for all the dots to just start hitting a stupidly high amount. Like yeah, like I can't think of the fight right now, especially because most fights, CQs in FGO, they're not meant to be lasting a super long amount of time. Like it's not Honkai, how in Div Universe, the fight lasts so long, like you can actually get some stupid dot procs. Uh, like those, like some of my what is it? Level Conundrum 7 runs, like some of those bots fights do take like 10 minutes. DOT like this, really good for that fight, not so much for FGO. Like people glorify, and I don't mean glorify in like a bad way, but like people really do show off like how the min turns for runs. And I'm not against that, but it does show that FGO has a certain play style. Some people don't want to play it, and there's also a reason why people don't want to play it, because some FGO mechanics can get very, very annoying if you do not end the fight as soon as possible. Last thing about Jacques, ramp up with MP damage, base 20 up to 40. Very happy about this. It does make Black Rail a little less value, but you would still be using Black Rail. If you're using Oberon, like this is another reason that it should be double Ruler Scotty Oberon, or sorry, double Scotty Oberon, just in case you don't want to like fully commit to just roiding out the buster cards or just roiding out the quick cards. But she is double buster, double quick. Never really focused on this, but like she got super lucky that Ruler Scotty came out because it did make Jacques a little better before all before she started getting buffed. Bond CE power mod for everyone while enemies have a curse. So this Bond CE specifically, I think it's just super easy to actually enable if Jacques is on the field. They're on it, like especially with this buff. There's no reason you shouldn't be running this because it activates immediately now. There is no you have to card um before you can actually give support. No, it doesn't matter what other people are on the team. It doesn't matter if you're using Doman. Doesn't matter if you're using Van Gogh. The enemy is going to be cursed now, guaranteed. So, do I see people using this or the starting 50? I would prefer this than the starting 50 because it like brings up now Chuck's skill from a 50% to a 70% curse power mod. That's a lot of damage. That is literally you ramping up her MP to 30, 20, 20. So overcharge 3 for 1 MP and then 2 OC1s. That is the equivalent you're doing for your face cards. So yeah, no, that it's just a personal preference on my end. In grand raids, effectively with a pen 2, she's at 80% charge because 20, 50, 70, and then another 10 from being grand foreigner. So if you have an AoE 20, she's MPing anyway. Yeah, that's not Van Gogh. That would be someone else. But again, like you have 4 classes to use with for grand raids for foreigners. I don't think it's that hard to find one that has an AoE 20 or a targeted 20. How? Yeah, no, because Shufu is an extra class. So yeah, no, you don't. I would say you don't need to put this at 50%. Use this. Do I think would I put her as a grand raid candidate? No, mostly because this Bonsi, while it's good, it's very general application. It's still not game breaking like it is for say Tyra, like that has MP damage and gets more guts synergy. And yeah, that's Jacques de Molay. Again, I really, really like this character. So fun. I don't use her that much just because I have other shit I need to be farming. But I don't know. Maybe in the future, I really buckle down and just start farming and get her eventually to bond 15 and possibly actually summon for a final copy and get the actual perfect shock. I'm holding off on that until they actually address this Irving coin thing because I really don't. I'm willing to take her to a 120. Give me 30 coins. Give me 30 coins. And then I don't need an extra copy. I will take her to bond 15. Don't make me have to buy another one for 30 coins, please. Thank you. All right, that's it. Recording this the day before it comes out. See you guys. Peace. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you enjoyed, drop a like or sub. Hope to see you in the next one. Peace.